Hello everybody, sorry, McEdam from the future here. I just want to state that this video was originally part of a segment of a much longer video talking about all stories of the Company of Friends anthology. Sadly, however, due because the video was extremely long, I was having trouble exporting it. So I've decided to release them separately. This one will be a part of it. So enjoy. I'll see you next time. So the second story is Fitz's story, written by Stephen Cole, who actually wrote Fitz's introduction story in the novel. I believe it's called The Stand or The Turk, something like the something. Now, I actually know very little about Fitz, apart from the fact that he was the companion of the Eighth Doctor during his era on the BBC books, in which the Doctor first originally travelled with Sam, and then he travelled with Fitz, and there's also another companion called Compassion, and there's this whole thing about faction paradox and the war on heaven, and the BBC books aren't very well known for being any good, to be honest with you. I mean, there are great BBC books out there, from what I can tell, but they are generally known to be a lot weaker than the Virgin New Adventures, especially when it comes to the Eighth Doctor stuff. But does that carry on to this story, or is this one of the golden gems in a very mixed period for the Eighth Doctor? It's a gem. It's an absolute gem. I fell in love with this story as soon as the credits stopped rolling and we got into the actual story itself. But first of all, let's talk about Fitz as a character. He is this. He's got like an EastEnder accent. He sounds a lot like Phil Mitchell from EastEnders, and he's got this whole suave about for him. He basically thinks himself as a ladies' man. In fact, any opportunity he can, he tries to like pick up girls' numbers and tries to flirt with as many women as possible. And he's basically like, you get that idea. He's a bit of a smug. Now he's played by Matt D'Angelo, who does a fantastic job here and bounces off Paul McGann very well. I don't think it's as well pairing as Lisa Barrowman, but however, as this was his only story in Doctor Who, I can kind of forgive him for that, and I would really love to see more audio dramas with the Fitz and the Doctor. If Fitz is like this in the novels, I can actually imagine him being a companion I really like. He's got a very different energy to what we're used to, especially how it's actually two males in the TARDIS. There is actually another companion, Adjad, but she doesn't actually appear in this story. As the Doctor mentions in one scene, she's knocked out cold after having a few drinks, so she's sleeping off in the TARDIS, so we don't actually see this other companion. There's also a continuity error in which the Doctor remembers Sam. However, the Doctor is supposed to suffer from amnesia at this time in his life, and he shouldn't be remembering Sam. I honestly have no idea how big of a controversy that is. I literally just read it up on Wikipedia. But the story itself, as soon as the credits roll, actually we get a pre-credit scene of Fitz basically introducing himself, how he explains how he met up with the Doctor, and that back in like the late 90s he dreams that he was like this super action star, but his life turned out pretty boring until the TARDIS arrived, and so he quickly joined the TARDIS so he can basically self-insert himself into the action. He's one of those kind of people. He needs kind of the attention in a way. And then the credits roll, and then when we actually get into the story then, we get some really funky music. One of the things I really like about this episode, the music is top notch. From that advert music that plays at the start, is really funky, it makes you go like that, to the actual music that's played throughout the story. All very well handled. At the start, we hear a lot of people are like, oh no, there's aliens, what are we going to do? In a very cartoonish way. And then we hear the Doctor, and he seems to be very energetic. He seems a little bit different than we're used to. But it's still Paul McGann, and he's still thralling with energy, a bit more energy than we're used to. And then it kind of reveals itself at the end of this little segment as the Doctor is like, I've helped the universe, and now I can help you. Now just call this number, and we can save you at something corporations, at 0800 00 1066. So yeah, and we later then hear a scene of the Doctor and Fitz and the TARDIS, and the Doctor basically explains that is not him. It's somebody who's taken his likeness and basically used it for their own gain so that they can promote their own company without getting the Doctor's permission. So the Doctor and Fitz are actually got a mission of sorts to come and basically figure out what's going on, why they're using his likeness. The Doctor actually gives him Fitz a little side mission. So the story's about copyright infringement and how important that is. And what I really like about the story is that there's two ways that you can tackle this debate. And this story doesn't really do any of them, which I think really fits the quality of the story. You can either have the people taking the rights are the villains, as they just want to use it as their own gain, without any content from the original owner, like from the Doctor. Or you can go from the right, it's like free speech, that people who take the people who sue people for copyright infringement are trying to silence other people's opinions in that sort of sense. And usually these are the two options that writers go for. But here we actually have a little bit different. The story starts off kind of generic in a way in terms of its plot, as the Doctor goes in to investigate, and originally he thinks this big greyly monster is behind it all, but this creature later explains that he is just the janitor of the corporation, as the real leader, this woman, I can't remember her name, doesn't say on the back, but she is the leader of this organisation, and she is the one that infringed on the Doctor's copyright. And she was actually expecting the Doctor. She kind of knew that taking the Doctor's likeness would hinder him would kind of push him into this situation. However, she's afraid to take any risks, essentially. So when the Doctor keeps tampering with their defense systems, actually this is before the Doctor meets up with the janitor, the Doctor's trying to break into the company, but a gas is released and knocks him out, which kind of messes up the Doctor's and Fitz's plan in a way, as the Doctor has a debate with the company holder, and she basically is like, originally it starts off like as you expect, the Doctor thinks she's the villain, she's got some sort of alternative motive onto why she's using the Doctor's likeness, and to be fair, she does, but she actually has a moral reason that the Doctor can actually justify. For you see, they're on a planet where usually most people aren't too aware of aliens. I mean, a handful of people are aware of aliens, and she is aware of the Doctor and his reputation as somebody who saves planets from evil invaders. So basically, she came up with a hologram of the 8th Doctor, and essentially pretended as if the Doctor is basically this planet has the Doctor on house call, in a sense. And because of that, because of these advertisements, other aliens who try to invade this planet don't, because they fear that the Doctor is the thing. So basically she's doing this as a sort of insurance policy. And the Doctor's like, oh, well, you better turn on to the news, as when they look onto the news, this woman is actually interviewing Fitz, who states that he was actually the brains behind the operation. The Doctor isn't actually the Doctor. It was Fitz who was the big brains of the operation, and the Doctor, who says is John Smith, was just an actor, a cover-up, so that he can take all the spotlight. But now he's coming forth so that his actor friend John Smith will not be harmed. And I really love this interview because it's clear that Fitz is kind of pathetic. Like he's flirting with the woman who's interviewing him. There's a great bit where she's like, where Fitz pretends to be emotional by the fact that he thinks that this is affecting John's health, or at least like he pretends to. And she's like, I feel sorry for you, but can you please let go of my leg? I like that little segment. There's also a really funny bit where they show a clip of the Doctor and Fitz actually fighting a bunch of aliens, and she's like, well, it appears that you were running away here and that they actually stung you. And he's like, oh yeah, I was running away. I was just distracting the creatures whilst my actor friend John could get into place and take the situation. As for the sting, it didn't hurt that much, but the way he says it is so like really like he's clearly pretending. So there's a lot of great fun in this little dynamic, and the woman of this corporation is like, what have you done? You've left us defenseless. That the people don't believe that we have a defense policy. They don't believe in the Doctor anymore. And it turns out that the janitor of this company is actually a shape-shifting alien from an invasion force that's about to come down and destroy them, but were feared of the Doctor. But when it turns out that this company will now no longer get any funds because a lot of people now stop believing in the Doctor, it's like, right, you've just made it easy pickings for us. So the Doctor kind of foils them for a bit as he realizes the species and throws this like liquid on them that turns them into goo. And to defeat the enemies, in a way, the climax of this little adventure, which could be counted as anticlimactic, but because it's only one little short episode, and it would have been kind of predictable in the sense that if they went the other route, I think this is a much greater ending to this small little segment, is that Fitz actually makes his own advert in which he's the one who's saving the day. It's like, don't worry people, Fitz will save your planet. I'm one of the greatest heroes. I was the mind behind the Doctor. And we get a great scene of the Doctor and Fitz actually watching this advert in the TARDIS, and the Doctor's like stunned, he's amazed. It's like, wow, I'm really proud of you. I've never imagined you could be the corporation's most corny mascot. And the delivery by Paul McGann, which is like, he's so, like in his voice there is no hint of like sarcasm in a sense. It's like he genuinely believes in Fitz for doing this, but Fitz is kind of like, hey, I really like that. So Fitz's story, really liked it. A lot of fun, and really it was worth getting the CD. So now on to Liz's story.